For a kid growing up in the rinks around Dorchester, Massachusetts, hockey is not just a game, it's a way of life. But when your cousin was one of the NHL's biggest stars, and your brother was one of the state's best prospects, hockey's not just a way of life, it's the way of life. I'm Joel Idelson.
And I'm Kevin Hayes.
And this is New England Hockey Journal.
Here's a break. Kevin Hayes breaks to the net, and he scores!
The 2016-17 NHL season was Kevin Hayes' best yet. Centering the Rangers' third line, Hayes put up high numbers in points and assists. Along with his older brother Jimmy, the Hayes brothers are well known in hockey-crazed Dorchester. Their extended family includes a couple of former NHL players as well. Keith Tkachuk and Tom Fitzgerald are cousins. I recently sat down with Kevin to talk about his hockey life.
Kevin, tell me what it was like for you growing up in Dorchester. It's such a unique place to live, and impact that had on you as a person, as a hockey player.
I know when you ask people about the Hayes brothers, especially the kids that we grew up with, they're pretty proud to say, like, oh, we hung out with that kid every day for 8-9 years. In the summers, it was literally wake up 8 to 9, get on your bike, go see your friends until your parents made you come home. And this house here was a safe haven for my friends. I'd call my mom and be like, hey, 10 guys are coming over, and she would cook up food. And it's funny just like thinking back on those times, how different it is now. Every chance I get to come back here, it's cool. Like, you go get coffee and these little kids are sitting there staring at you, and their parents like, do you mind taking a picture? And I'm like, of course not. Like, this is me when I was younger.
Talk a little bit about your time growing up in Dorchester through hockey and what that was like for you playing for the town. A lot of kids these days, they don't play for their town anymore.
Yeah.
How important was that to you playing for Dorchester youth hockey?
When I was younger, hockey wasn't a year-round sport as much as it is now. It was great. Me and my brother both played for Dorchester. I love those times. We would go to the state championship every year. I even talk to some of those kids still to this day. Growing up, that was a big deal. You would go, you go to these middle school dances, and you'd see these kids from other town, and it was like a big our hockey team's better than your hockey team, and very immature stuff to look back at now. But memories are
what it's all about.
Exactly.
Heading into high school, you had mentioned that a lot of your friends went to CM,
Yeah.
and you made the decision to go to Nobles.
Yeah.
How come Nobles?
I don't think I really had a decision. I've literally followed my brother in every footsteps that he's done. So my brother went there first, loved the coach, Coach Brian Day. Him and my dad became really close, and it was different.
Was it tough to make friends? Was it tough?
Yeah, 7th and 8th grade, I was friends with people, but just at school. People would be going over to each other's houses.
Yeah.
And I'd be coming back to my Dorchester buddies. My decision to go to Nobles was humongous. It was probably the best 5 years I've ever had. I made lifelong friends that will be in my wedding. They're super proud of me as well.
Coming up on New England Hockey Journal, we talk to Kevin Hayes about his eventful college career as a BC Eagle.
Back, a quick pass for Hayes, no shooting lane. He drifts to his left to find one. Now to Gaudreau, he shoots, he scores!
We're at Sports Etc. in Arlington, Massachusetts. I am here with Paul Stanton, who is the owner. And Paul, we're here to talk about skates. One of the most daunting things for me is to talk about skates because there's so many different options. And when you look at the Bauer brand alone, you've got 3 different lines: Nexus, Supreme, and Vapor. How do you decide?
Well, we have the new 3D scanner from Bauer, which helps to give us a better indication of what a person needs and what fit is correct for them. We're one of 3 stores in Massachusetts that has that machine.
So you're one of only 3 stores that has this. Okay,
yes.
So this machine is pretty unique. Tell me a little bit about how it works. I see that you kind of step up into this thing, and then what does it do?
Well, there's a complete scan of a person's foot. From the scanning of the foot, we can tell their heel depth, if there's anything protruding from their ankle, what their width is, if they have flat feet, high arch. So there's a lot of different variables that go into a skate. I mean, I've been fitting skates for over 25 years, so I can kind of know what I'm doing. But by having the scanner, it puts the customer at ease in terms of what they're looking for.
And this literally gives you a 3D view of the foot. And once you step out of the scanner, you get a result that tells you your best fit in terms of whether it's a Supreme or a Nexus or a Vapor.
Correct.
Yeah.
Everything's all about fit. So when it comes out, it will determine whether they need a wide, a narrow, if a Nexus is the best fit, or a Vapor. But that's one thing that's part of it. But it's also about fit. So if somebody really wants a vapor and that's what they've been comfortable with and they feel more, even though the scanner's telling them it's a Supreme, we can adjust that skate through heat process, through punching boots out to make it work for a person.
So it's similar to the way you look at a stick. It's that comfort and feel and the reaction that the stick gives you, and same thing with the skate.
Absolutely.
With the 24th pick, the Chicago Blackhawks are proud to select from Noble and Greeno, Kevin Hayes.
When Kevin Hayes turned 18, his lifetime dream came true, as he was selected in the first round of the 2010 NHL Draft. But he opted to once again follow his brother to play for Jerry York at Boston College.
My brother was at BC, so I went to BC every weekend. When I got there, I probably was a little bit too comfortable than I should have been. I mean, I like to say I did it the correct way. I got all my partying out early and then took it serious at the end. I thought I was a big man on campus freshman year, first round pick, and I had a subpar year.
What did that do for you?
Yeah, it's an ego shot for sure, but even then you're like, oh, whatever, I have 3 more years. When I got drafted to Chicago, I never thought I would go 4 years. My thing was like, oh, one and done. I think the biggest thing that ever happened, which is weird to say, but this injury I had that was almost had to amputate my leg. I was 8 hours away from amputating my leg.
Really?
Yeah, and 4 surgeries in the hospital for about 22 days.
What year was that?
My junior year.
Junior year,
Yeah.
okay.
Basically, it was a blessing in disguise because I wasn't playing good enough to the point where Chicago was like, maybe he just needs a change and maybe he should sign and we'll play him in the AHL and hopefully change helps. Because that can work for some people.
Right.
And this injury just didn't allow me to do anything. The main doctor told like the BC doctors like, hey, let's not even waste our time on this kid. Like there's no way he's gonna play hockey ever again. You play hockey every day, you go to Boston College, you can do whatever you want, and then all of a sudden you play in front of a bunch of people and everyone likes you because you're on the team, and you don't realize, like at the time you like think that's all cool and stuff, but you don't realize like this could be something that you can do for the rest of your life. And I really think that was a turning point in my career, and kind of something where it's like, all right, maybe it's time to put all my eggs in this one basket and see where it takes me. If something really bad happens to you, you can kind of make it into a positive, and that's what I tried to do. And my senior year, I got to play with 2 unbelievable players, and
So you were with Johnny Gaudreau
and Billy Arnold.
Billy Arnold.
Yeah, and we were, I think we set records.
Here's Gaudreau going in as Noonan falls. He gets it away to Arnold. Arnold for Hayes. He scores! Tic-tac-toe, the best line in the country produces another goal.
You got the MVP in the Beanpot that year. So I think all 4 years you won the Beanpot.
Yeah.
Right? And then that final year, coming off of an injury, you get the MVP.
Yeah.
I mean, again, another surreal moment for the Hayes family.
It was crazy. It was funny. After the Beanpot, my Dorchester buddies came over and my MVP trophy's missing. So I think one of my buddies has it at their house or something.
Is it missing still?
Oh yeah.
When New England Hockey Journal returns, we will take you to a Kevin Hayes off-season workout and also meet his biggest supporter.
We're at the Perazzo Rink in East Boston, Massachusetts. I am here with Heath Gordon, who's Director of Hockey from FMC Ice Sports. Heath, today we're going to talk about small area games. Tell me 3 things that you look for when running small area games.
Small area games are great to incorporate into a practice. It creates a lot of motion, a lot of puck touches. So as opposed to a game where you probably handle a puck anywhere from a minute to a minute and a half over the entire course of a game, you're constantly touching the puck. And again, this is something that you could run for the last 15 or 20 minutes of your practice.
Talk about what we're going to see here. There's 2 variations.
Correct. We're going to run a traditional kind of 3-on-3 cross ice game, and then what we're going to do is we're then going to move the nets together back to back, kind of creating a little bit more havoc, but a little bit more open space for guys to be creative and a lot more scoring opportunities.
Let's go take a look.
First group, ready? Here we go.
All right, Heath, it's so important that coaches realize that small area games is how to develop skill.
What we're looking for here is a lot of puck touches, guys moving their feet, game scenario type situations.
You see pretty much the whole time, every player's engaged in the play as well because it's a 3-on-3.
You got a lot more room to operate, allows these guys to be creative in a small situation.
What are some of the key things that you're looking for during a small area game like this?
So we've got a coach down below and we've got a coach up top here. Any change of possession, they're giving one of the coaches up top or down below the puck, and we're looking for them to move their feet, find open ice, get open. The most important thing here, we're looking for these guys just to be creative, maybe do some stuff they normally wouldn't do in a game, and again, that's just working on their their overall skill development as a player.
So Heath, besides the nets being back-to-back, what's the difference between this drill or this small area game than the one we just saw?
This one, what you should see is a lot of quick puck movement where we're actually giving these guys the option to shoot on either net. We'll still work the coaches in up top and down below. They do need to transition with a coach, want to change of possession, but you should see a lot of quick puck movement and a lot of quick shots.
I think it's interesting to see how engaged these goalies can be when the play is on one side of the ice. You see the other goalie still engaged in the play, still aware of what's going on.
You're really going to give your goaltenders some work. They should see a lot of shots, and they're going to be coming from anywhere and everywhere. There's so many different variations of what you can do. You can do game-specific stuff, or just to make it fun and competitive for your team.
So definitely a lot of opportunity to touch the puck in those small area games.
Sure, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for, again, a lot of puck touches, a lot of creativity out there, giving guys opportunities to do things that they probably normally wouldn't do.
And they were having fun. They were working hard. I don't even think they knew they were working that hard.
No, it's actually, believe it or not, it's a great conditioning tool for your team.
It takes total mind and body commitment to maintain an NHL career. Since he was a teenager, Kevin Hayes has put his faith in another Dorchester legend, Brian McDonough.
Well, let's talk about Edge Performance Systems,
Okay.
EPS, Brian McDonough. Brian's got an amazing following over there, over 20 NHL guys. He's got all the college prospects. What has that been like for you and your career, and how much has Brian played a part in that?
Brian McDonough is basically like a brother to me, and you ask him, he'll say the same thing. I wasn't bought in at all to working out, eating healthy. I was just miserable. I wouldn't talk to my dad. I wouldn't say hi to Brian. And then over time, we became so close, and something is working there. Basically, every Mass NHL guy goes there, and his system is just something that has helped everyone. He prevents injury, he makes you stronger, makes you quicker, and he's so invested in his athletes doing well. He cares for everyone like they're his own. If you buy into him, you'll have every best possible chance to be the best player you can be. And for that, I thank him for everything he's done for me.
It's been really beneficial to my program to have some of the older guys leading by example, because we have a lot of high-end younger athletes watching what they do, how they carry themselves, how hard they work, what they do when they're not here, away from the rink. And Kevin's really impressed the hell out of me the last couple of years with his level of buy-in. Extremely competitive, works really well in the group, and is actually a leader in this group at this point.
So I want to talk a little bit about your parents. I've met them a few times, larger than life, great people. When you were in high school, your mom had cancer.
Yeah. She never, ever let it affect. She cooked dinner every night for all 5 of us, put us to bed. Looking back at it now, you realize how strong she was and how badly it would have affected her and how bad she could have let it affect her.
But she handled it in such a way where you guys were not fazed.
To be honest, I didn't even comprehend that it was that serious. And in college, my dad got it.
I think it was sophomore,
I think it was my sophomore and junior year.
Your dad comes down with throat cancer.
Yeah, he didn't come to a lot of the games. He never missed a game growing up.
Yeah.
And then there was a season where he didn't come to any.
Yeah.
And it was just awkward. I would always get annoyed of him telling me how I played, but then when he's not there, you're wishing that he was there telling me how to play. And I remember we won the national championship, and I had no idea he was coming. And he showed up to the after party. When we showed up to the hotel, he had no teeth in, and it was pretty amazing moment. Let's hear your GM predictions on the team this year.
The team's gonna be good this year.
How are we gonna be?
No, you'll be good. I think the team will be real good. Shaddy definitely helps. Up front, you'll be fine. I'm expecting nothing but success.
Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup, yeah, I don't know why. I'm not ready to predict that yet.
So your dad goes to the same sushi place, 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
You join him there as well.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. Is it just a creature of habit?
He's the biggest creature of habit. He's been going to this sushi place for 10 years. I'm not joking. He's kept this place in business.
Right.
If you went in there and asked him the amount of people that come in and said, Big Kevin has told me to come here, it's upwards of thousands.
Unreal.
It's even to the point where I'll get text messages from Mark Stahl and Ryan McDonough on my team being hey, we're playing the Bruins on this date. We're flying in on Thursday. We have to go to Ichiro.
Most people love the summer. I want the summer to get over so the hockey starts and we get going.
His favorite day of the summer is when the schedule comes out and he figures out his trips and when he's coming to New York, what away games he's going to. He's the only guy in the world that has got offered 3 free trips to away games, and he hasn't taken up once in 3 years.
Busy.
He'll go watch our games there, and random people will know that that's our dad, my brother and I, and like they'll be invested into the game because they've ate so many times with my dad. Like he can talk to anyone.
Stay with us for more with Kevin Hayes on New England Hockey Journal.
Deep takes it to the net and scores! What a goal by Kevin Hayes!
Hello everyone and welcome to Ask the Advisor. My name is Brett Peterson from Acme Sports. This is our monthly segment where we answer any questions that you might have on the path of hockey. This question comes to us from Dylan in Marshfield. When I'm in the process of selecting a college, what should I be looking for? Hey, thanks for the question, Dylan. You should ask yourself this. If I took hockey out of the equation, is this a place where I see myself enjoying school, campus life, or social life? On the hockey side, coaches, style of play, opportunity, track record of success, development, and where I might fit in are important questions to ask. Take the opportunity to talk to former and current players on their experiences there. Here are some other important tips. Understanding scholarship schools versus financial aid ones. Have you registered for the NCAA clearinghouse? How many players does that school currently have committed? This is an exciting time. Enjoy the journey, but know the process.
Off the boards, picked up by Kevin Hayes, 2-on-1 down low. He scores!
Here in New York, a good scarf does more than just show off your Rangers pride. Like, I don't know, maybe hide something you don't want your buddies from Boston to see.
I just cringe when I see him in these advertisements in New York. Delta, do you see that Delta commercial? Oh my God.
I mean, when I retire, I might just move to Hollywood, but we'll see.
No, it's sad he believes that.
Some people have told me I have a face for Hollywood.
A face for radio.
Fire toward the net and scores! That's Kevin Hayes from the corner.
So originally drafted 24th overall in the first round. Chicago picks you up and you decide not to go with Chicago. What was that like?
Yeah, it was hard because all 4 years of college, all I wanted to do, all I talked about was I made Chicago friends. Like at BC,
right?
just like that was it. I wanted to play for the Chicago Blackhawks, and like that's the only thing I thought of. Like I was telling kids like, oh yeah, I'll be in the NHL for the Blackhawks soon. Like don't worry. And I didn't have 3 good years, and then finally I had a crazy senior year, like crazy good stats, and just like a whole different player. And I remember like my agent being like, I don't think this is going to happen, but if you keep going at the pace you're at, we can ultimately see other options.
You
if we
can make
hold
a decision
out,
where you want to go.
And then, because you really don't get to have any rights until a little later on in your career. And so the season ended. We lost to Union in the semifinals, and Chicago was like, we want you to come. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna. I didn't really want to do that, but my agent kind of talked me into it, and we're gonna wait out our options. It stinks, like, because they invested so much in me, but it was an opportunity where you kind of have to experience it. You can even go to free agency and then ultimately choose the Blackhawks. And that's what I was telling them, because that's what I truly believed. And August 15th came, 5:30, and boom, 24 teams called.
So you had your options.
Oh yeah.
And so ultimately you signed with the Rangers, obviously. What led to your decision to sign with the Rangers? Especially being a Boston kid going to play for the New York team, I won't hold it against you.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting at like a family party on August 15th, and these Hall of Fame type people are calling you to convince you to come to their team, and you're like, oh, like every phone call, I'm like, Dad, I'm going to Pittsburgh. The next guy, I'm like, Dad, I'm going to Phoenix. And then they hang up, and it's like, no, I'm going to Colorado. Like, it was insane. And ultimately, we all sat down and figured out, me, my dad, my brother, my agent, and narrowed it down to 10, narrowed it down to 5, narrowed it down to 3. Boston was in there the whole time. And ultimately I chose the Rangers. I really liked the phone call that we had. Brian Boyle was leaving the Rangers, not on bad blood, but going to a new team. And I worked out with him every day, and he had nothing but the best things to say. And that's kind of weird, like a guy leaving the team and still trying to convince you to go there. Exactly.
And probably the style of play might be.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was telling me that if you're Responsible defensively, he kind of lets you do your own thing offensively, and that's what I still need to work on, but that was something that I really liked. There was an opportunity where I looked at their lineup and I was like, all right, I think I can play in this position right now. And that's what happened. It felt right, and even still, like up until the day I decided, like Chicago was in the back of my head, and my agent was like, once you make this decision, like there's no turning back. Like, you have to be fully invested. It was a great decision. I have no regrets on it whatsoever.
Let's talk a little bit about the city of New York.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a great city.
It's amazing.
Obviously, the Boston-New York thing, it's a fun rivalry.
Yeah. Even growing up for me, I never thought I would like New York. I never even went to New York until my first NHL game.
Really?
I never went in college, never went in high school. My parents tried to tell me I went there when I was younger, but I don't remember anything about it. It's funny, like, I walk around my Patriots gear on, my Red Sox, my Celtics stuff, and I take heat from it, but I think it's been about 4 years now where the fans kind of think it's funny. Yeah. They give me crap about it, but they know I'm connected to the Rangers, and they know that that's what I want. Yeah. I want the best for New York Rangers. But I mean, I'm the biggest Tom Brady fan out there. Yeah. Kyrie to the Celtics, like, it's going to be a good sports year for Boston and hopefully the Rangers. And I've had the best time there so far, and I want to be there for my whole career. It's a spot that it's nice, like it's far away to kind of get away from Boston and get away from your family, but if you're missing your family, you're missing your buddies, just buy them a train ticket, it's 3 hours away, and they're never saying no.
His way back against Carolina. It's a good play by Hayes to intercept, puts it in front, another opportunity, he scores! The first NHL goal for Kevin Hayes, and it's 4-0 Rangers.
With the NHL season underway, the Rangers look to be a strong contender, and you can bet Kevin Hayes will be a big part of New York's success. I'm Joel Idelson, and we'll see you next time on New England Hockey Journal.